Zandvoort 2025, Max Verstappen's home crowd chants his name. But the real uproar comes from Red Bull's sister team, VCARB. Both cars storm Q3. Rookie Hadjar grabs a podium. And leaked data drops a bomb. VCARB's pace matches Red Bull's. Is Max the only thing saving the champions? This twist could shatter F1's hierarchy. The 2025 Dutch Grand Prix wasn't just a race, it was a seismic shift in Formula One's landscape. Visa Cash App Racing Bulls, Red Bull's junior squad, didn't just compete, they stole the show. Liam Lawson and Hadjar powered their Varbo to cars into Q3, a rare feat in a midfield where tenths decide fates. Then Hadjar, a 20-year-old rookie in his debut F1 season, clinched third place, standing on the podium with a grin that mixed disbelief and defiance. VCARB's strategy was textbook: perfect pit stops, bold overtakes, and a car that mastered Zandvoort's brutal layout, a track that punishes any flaw in aerodynamics, balance, or traction. For Red Bull, languishing in fourth in the constructors' standings, this was a humiliation. Their sister team, operating from a modest Faenza factory, had matched their pace. Leaked telemetry data, whispered about in paddock corners, showed the VCARB to within 0.2 seconds of Red Bull's RB1 in high-speed sectors like turns 7 and 8. The emotional impact was crushing. Red Bull, the team of Verstappen's dominance and championship banners, was being upstaged by their own understudy. The paddock buzzed with a question no one saw coming in 2025. Is VCARB now level with Red Bull? And if so, is Max Verstappen, the four-time world champion, the only force keeping Red Bull's title hopes alive, suggesting VCARB could rival Red Bull feels like heresy. Red Bull is the juggernaut, built on Adrian Newey's genius and Verstappen's relentless talent. VCARB is the feeder team, a proving ground for drivers like Lawson and Hadjar. Yet, Zandvoort's timing screens told a different story. If VCARB's car is matching Red Bull's in raw speed, is Verstappen the sole reason the senior team hasn't slipped into the midfield? The evidence is undeniable. Lap times, sector data, and driver feedback all point to a narrowing gap. The follow-up question cuts deeper. Would Verstappen, the sport's ultimate predator, find more confidence in VCARB's cockpit? The RB21 is tailored to Max's aggressive, high-commitment style, but it's a nightmare for anyone else. VCARB's Varbo 2, by contrast, is a driver's delight, forgiving, intuitive, and versatile. For Verstappen, who thrives on control, this could be transformative. The emotional stakes are raw. Picture Max glancing at VCARB's garage, wondering if their car could unleash even more of his potential. For Red Bull's engineers, it's a nightmare scenario, their star driver questioning the machine they've poured their souls into. For VCARB, it's a bittersweet triumph. They've built a car that's turning heads, but at the cost of exposing their parent team's flaws. The 2025 season has been a tale of two teams, and the numbers are stark. Since the driver swaps, Lawson returning to VCARB after a stint at Red Bull, Yuki Tsunoda promoted to the senior team, the performance gap has all but vanished. Lawson has scored 20 points, Hadjar a remarkable 37, while Tsunoda, in the supposedly superior RB21, has scraped together just 9. These stats are a neon warning sign about drivability. Tsunoda, always candid, laid it bare. The VCARB has a much wider window in which the car operates. It almost doesn't matter what you do. This car can handle any kind of balance pretty well. But the Red Bull probably has a certain kind of setup, a certain window in terms of tires and everything. And that narrow window is really hard to hit. Race data backs this up. In Australia, VCARB's strategy misfired with a lap 28 pit stop for Hadjar, dropping him from 4th to 8th. In China, a risky two-stop strategy cost Lawson a points finish, despite running in the top 6 mid-race. Bahrain saw Tsunoda qualify 17th in the RB1, struggling with understeer and low-speed corners. While VCARB's cars cruised into Q2, Japan highlighted the contrast. Hadjar scored 6th, Lawson 8th, while Tsunoda battled oversteer to finish 11th. Zandvoort was the pinnacle. Hadjar's podium and Lawson 7th outshone Tsunoda's 9th. Without the Singapore crash, where Lawson was clipped by a backmarker at turn 14, he'd likely have scored in 4 of the last 6 races. The emotional stakes are visceral. Lawson's return to VCARB was a rebirth, his confidence soaring after a bruising Red Bull stint. Hadjar, under the microscope as a rookie, turned Zandvoort into a defining moment, his podium a middle finger to doubters. Tsunoda, meanwhile, is grappling with the RB21's demands. His frustration evident after Japan. I'm still learning this car, but it's fighting me every lap. Verstappen, the outlier, masks the RB21's flaws with his brilliance, but even he's admitted to compromises, easing off in Zandvoort's fast corners, saving tires when he'd rather attack. This isn't about driver talent, it's about design philosophy. Red Bull's RB21 is built for Verstappen, molded to his ability to tame a high-strung chassis with aggressive anti-dive front suspension and a high-rake aero package. It maximizes downforce but sacrifices predictability, demanding pinpoint precision. VCARB's VCARB02, sharing components like Red Bull's front suspension and side pod design, prioritizes balance over peak performance. Team boss Alan Perman calls it a sweet spot, a car with a wide setup window that adapts to tire wear, track evolution, or sudden rain. Tsunoda's quote encapsulates it: the VCARB lets you push without worrying about the edge. The Red Bull, you're always on a knife's edge. Technical details flesh this out. The VCARB02's aerodynamic package emphasizes mid-range downforce, ensuring stability through high-speed corners like Suzuka's 130R or Spazot Rouge. Its suspension geometry, tuned for compliance, offers consistent grip across compound softs, mediums, or hards. The RB1, by contrast, relies on a high-rake setup that generates immense downforce but is sensitive to tire temperatures and track conditions. In Monaco, Tsunoda battled oversteer due to the RB21's rear instability. In Hungary, understeer plagued his qualifying. VCARB's cars, meanwhile, maintain balance, allowing Lawson and Hadjar to attack without fear. The emotional contrast is stark. VCARB's garage radiates confidence, drivers trust their car to respond predictably. Red Bull's camp is a pressure cooker, every setup tweak a high-stakes gamble. Fernando Alonso, a two-time champion with an unmatched feel for machinery, waited, put Verstappen in the Faenza car, and he's fighting for the title. His words carry weight, echoing whispers from paddock insiders like Sky Sports' Ted Kravitz, who noted VCARB's remarkable consistency in 2025. The roots of this drama lie in Red Bull's chaotic 2025. Adrian Newey's departure was a hammer blow. The man who designed their championship cars, gone to Aston Martin. Key figures followed: Jonathan Wheatley to Audi, Rob Marshall to McLaren, Christian Horner's ousting as team principal, framed by Helmut Marko as performance-related, shook the team's foundation. These are structural losses, eroding the expertise that fueled Red Bull's dominance. Laurent Mekies, promoted from VCARB, insists the team's cars follow different development paths, but shared components: front suspension, side pod geometry, gearbox tell a different story. VCARB has turned these into a cohesive, driver-friendly package. Red Bull's RB21 remains a temperamental beast. What if Verstappen drove the VCARB02? Alonso's words linger: give Max that car and he's in the championship hunt. Verstappen's track record wins from P6 in Hungary 2022, poles in wet Spa 2023 backs this up. An VCARB02, with its forgiving setup and predictable handling, he'd have the freedom to attack without the RB21's demands. Leaked Zandvoort data showed VCARB matching Red Bull in sectors requiring commitment, like turns 7 to 8. Marko insists the RB21 is clearly faster over a race distance, but Verstappen's comments praising VCARB's drivability contradict him. Posts on X echo this sentiment, with fans noting VCARB's surprising pace and Red Bull's struggles to unlock the RB21's potential. What if Verstappen slipped into a VCARB cockpit for just one race? The paddock would explode, fans chanting, analysts debating, rivals trembling. For Red Bull, it would be humiliation, proof their flagship car is faltering. For VCARB, it would be vindication, showing their machine is championship ready. And for Max, it would be freedom, a car that lets him drive on instinct. With Honda gone and Red Bull gambling on untested Ford power units for 2026, Verstappen's loyalty looks shakier than ever, especially as McLaren, Ferrari, and Mercedes close the gap. Zandvoort 2025 lit the fuse. VCARB is rising, Red Bull is cracking, and F1's greatest driver may be tempted to switch sides.